Welcome to Landmarks. For nearly 30 years, this was the quintessential symbol of the Cold War, a bleak dividing line between East and West. The Berlin Wall separated families and shut off West Berlin from its communist neighbours. When construction started in 1961, the East German leaders proclaimed it as an anti-fascism protection barrier, but it was widely seen in the West as a means of preventing Easterners from defecting to West Berlin. Although the wall was hugely unpopular within East Germany, the isolation it brought enabled the communist leaders to assert control and stem the flow of black market goods coming in from the West. The wall stretched for 155 kilometres and evolved from a basic wire fence to a thick concrete barrier. For added security, a second wall was built 91 metres from the first, and a no man's land between them became known as the Death Strip. It was booby-trapped with tripwires, footprints could easily be seen in the gravel, and guards had a clear line of fire. While West German children accepted the wall as part of their lives and happily played alongside it, East Germans were not so cheerful. Although around 5,000 people successfully escaped the totalitarian state, an estimated 192 people were killed in the attempt. The wall grew to be a hated reminder of East Germany's repression. In January 1989, leader Erich Honecker declared that the wall would stand for another 100 years. Less than a year later, German authorities were forced to respond to the tide of liberalism and open the borders between East and West Germany. The mood for change came so fast it took everyone by surprise. When the East German Minister for Propaganda told a live TV press conference that people with proper permission would be allowed to travel to the West, thousands of people flocked to the checkpoints. With the East German leadership in disarray, none of the guards were prepared to use force on their fellow citizens, and they allowed thousands of people to pour through the checkpoints. Families were reunited after decades apart, and the West welcomed their Eastern brothers and sisters with open arms. The people who took to the wall with sledgehammers to carve out a piece of history and destroy the object that separated them from the world became known as wall woodpeckers. The East German military began officially demolishing the wall in June 1990, and the country was reunified 4 months later. Little is left of the controversial Berlin Wall, but a growing movement supports the creation of memorials to mark some of East Germany's fast-forgotten history. Alexandra Hildebrand, head of the Checkpoint Charlie Museum, is adamant people should be aware of the land's past as part of the border area, and that it should be marked and remembered as such. However, there are those who oppose the wall's reconstruction, believing it glorifies the totalitarian past and is not an accurate representation of what the wall looked like.
I think this
project is inaccurate because the wall originally was somewhere else. Also, this project looks as though the border area really only was a wall, as could be seen from Western Berlin at the time. You were able to get to it, paint on it, and a lot of tourists will be able to go up close and have their photographs taken and then go home and think that this is how it used to be. And that's not how it was at all. Maria Nuke is the head of the Berlin Wall Memorial, one of 3 original sections of wall still standing. This memorial at Bernauer Strasse has views of the infamous Death Strip, where hundreds of Berliners were killed or injured as they attempted to escape to the West. Its legacy will remain forever.